It's Healing Conversations, and it's time to tap into your mental space with me, Ntabiseng Web, gender-based violence. Many people in our society are in some way or another being exposed to violence, and some are saying it's more of a gender-based thing, but is it really? My guest is an ambassador, and her passion for the safety of women is what is going to take us on this journey. She's got a personal testimony that has led to her being here. And tonight, we are privileged that Nobusuthu Javu opens up to us and takes us on what has led her to being so vocal on behalf of women and men. Am I right when I say that? You are just an advocate for a non-gender based voice, so to speak. You speak for men, you speak for women.
Yes, definitely, Sister Ntabiseng. I speak for everybody, victims, survivors, as long as it has gender-based violence in it, amen. Yes.
How did you get to this point? And maybe before you answer that question, I love the fact that you adopt a binary approach, so to speak. You know, many times we speak of violence being a crime that is by men against women. And oftentimes the statistics don't really tell the story of the men who suffer at the hands of women.
It's very true. And we have cases of men that have been murdered by perpetrators who are women as well. So we always focus on women. Yes, of course, it's because of stats. A lot of women do report. But when it comes to men, we still have a long journey to get men to report their violence perpetrated by women. But yeah, we have so many cases of such.
Now, your passion, you know, and your advocacy in this specific area is very commendable because you've got such a blueprint, so to speak. You know, in Gauteng, your work is known. In the Eastern Cape, where you come from, your work is known.
Yes, in Northwest, we have been.
All over. Yeah. With the Limpopo High Court, I see you quite, you know, going to court, following up court cases of people who have been accused of doing the most, you know, harm to the females, and you are there. You know, you are adopting an approach of and I'm like, some of us we advocate behind, but I see you and you're taking no prisoners,
protesting.
Yeah.
Yes, for me, our slogan is Direst is we journey with you from victim to survivor. So that journey, it also involves ensuring that justice is served. Once a case has been to SAPS and registered, we don't rest until the perpetrator is brought to book and justice is served for the victim, so that the journey of healing for that victim can can never start until justice is served.
Until the chapter is not closed.
Yes, that is why we support to court. Sometimes we protest. It is just to add our voice and also to put pressure to the system itself to say the victim is not alone. We are here.
And we are watching.
And we are watching you. Yes.
Now, you coming up to the foundation of, you know, a non-profit organization, Direst. And I want to talk more about that. But I want to get to how you got to this point, you know, your personal story.
Yeah, I'm a rape survivor. That's what gave birth to what I'm doing at this stage. And for me, it happened when I was still very young. And I couldn't even define it at the time. I couldn't term it as to what has happened to me.
Yeah.
I was 7 years of age, back at home. It's someone known to me, known to the family. You know, back then, a child was a community child.
Yeah, everybody's malume.
Malume, yeah. Everybody's malume, and you trust malume. You know, so it happened after school. Met malume, and he lured me, you know, to go with him. And it was safe. I trusted the person. Because I was from a village that was far from school, so we always walk.
And you say this is someone you knew?
Yeah, so there was no danger for me there. Even when he said, accompanying you to the shop, I knew good. I'm actually safer with him.
Yes, than
because
alone.
now I have a walking partner back from school, because I was left behind to clean the class with other group of girls. Unfortunately for me, the other girls were within the same community. So yeah, I thought it was safe, and he validated me. And I can't remember now what words did he use to silence me, because I never shared it. I kept it for more than 30 years until the foundation was, the NPO was birthed.
What would you say has led to your, the bravery to open up? Because it's so shocking, and it's sad, in fact, that to this day we still have in our communities where the justice system has progressed significantly, but we still have the inability for victims to say, you know what, this is what I'm going through.
Yeah.
People are still silenced.
Yeah, it also depends on where it happened, who is the perpetrator, because there's rape, there's incest that is within the family. So also I think for me it's the fact that victims are scared to be judged, because there are always wrong questions that the society asks.
Oh yes.
What were you wearing? What time was it? If it's at night, why were you not at home at night? As if you went out there to invite to be violated. So it is a way of silencing the victim. It is a way of saying to the victim, you are at fault.
Yeah.
And also the response from either family members, depending on who's the perpetrator, how close the perpetrator is to the victims. Sometimes as society, we don't want to bring more drama to the family. So let's just,
Let's
pretend
hush.
let's pretend as if nothing has happened. This is a family matter. We'll talk about it, shelve it under the table. And that on its own, it silences the victim. And that fear of being, we normally call it a secondary victimization from the people that are supposed to support you. Am I going to be believed? Because it's always someone that's known to you, known to the family. And sometimes it's somebody that has been respected,
Yes,
in the
within the community.
Yeah, so you always have those thoughts, am I going to be believed? Once you pick up that you won't be believed, or sometimes it's the fact that I just don't want drama.
Yeah.
Let me just, die in silence with this. And because it's going to bring more drama to you, especially if the case is going to get reported. You have to go to court, not once, not twice, maybe even 10 times. So let me just keep it to myself.
And just as a follow-up to what you're saying, the morale as well of the victim, getting discouraged in the course of reporting, maybe because of how the justice system also deals with victims themselves. You speak to a rape victim, you read a book by a rape victim, and some are saying they will ask them the question, if you are a man, how can you be raped by a woman? If you are a woman, where were you going? Were you drunk? And we come to a culture where victims no longer see the value in pursuing justice for themselves.
That is where we also as NPOs come in, because victims experience a lot of secondary trauma in all the spaces where they are supposed to get assistance. First of all, they go to SEPs, and when you are coming to report a rape or sexual exploitation case at SEPs, there should be a private room where you get interviewed. And also, they need to check if you are comfortable to be interviewed by which gender. Because imagine I've just been raped by a man, and then here comes this man. Sometimes resembles the perpetrator. And he's just coming, asking me all questions, and in my mind, I'm actually seeing the perpetrator
all over again. Secondary victimization.
Yes. So then that on its own, I wouldn't want to go through that. And again, you must be taken to a health practitioner, a hospital or clinic, to be tested for evidence. And you get there, as well, there's no privacy. You have to tell them first that I have been violated for them to take you in a private space. Then that's where we come in. We make sure that every door you knocked on, you receive the respect that you deserve, and the privacy as well,
and the compassion,
and the compassion and confidentiality as well. Just empathy. Let's walk the journey with you. Let's not make it more complicated for you, and to a point that you like, maybe I should not. This is not the right thing. I should not have reported, because at the end of the day, we want to bring the perpetrator to justice, to book. Yeah. That person must account for what they have done.
Let me ask this question. You get to that point where you start having flashbacks, and your mind, you're starting to remember what happened, and doesn't the enemy say to you, because there are times when your mind says to you, no, it can't be true.
Yeah.
It's not true, and some psychologists say, your mind will try to protect you from what your mind feels you cannot handle as yet.
It definitely happened with me. I would have those flashbacks because I remember it happened in a cornfield. We were surrounded by corn, and so when I started seeing that, it's like, okay, wait, what is happening to me? And I saw him. Like it was like a TV screen for me, something playing that. Yes, there were some episodes, the bits and pieces that were missing. So I had to gather myself and think, okay, this really happened. And I saw him. Yes, it happened. It was him. And he tried it for the second time. Now as I'm trying mentally to absorb what has happened to me. On the other hand, I'm like, no, man, I think I'm thinking this up.
Oh, yeah.
But also because I was moved from that environment, I think 2 years. So after the incident, so flashbacks started coming around about 8 years after. So there was no way that my mind could make up that story.
Yes.
So when it happened, I was like, okay, it took me back to the village. And I was like, yeah, actually it did happen. And actually it is this guy. And the pieces, they kept on coming together.
The puzzle, yeah.
Yes, and the more I accepted that this has happened to me, the more scenes now, started coming and like bringing the whole story. That's why now I could be able to tell you what time, where, who, what exactly happened. Because I accepted, really it happened. Then I started asking myself, what happened, where, who? And it all came together.
Now, in your story, you're using that now, to help heal other people. And besides the work that you do with gender-based violence victims, you also, reach out to other communities. And the sex workers, the sex work community as well. It's one area where you also are very vocal. Yeah. Perhaps let's start with you always, I follow you, and when you speak, you make mention of the fact that we have such an active community of sex workers tells us that there is a lot that actually happened, and that we shouldn't say, we have prostitutes, we must try to find out what happened that we come to this point.
Yes. And remember, prostitution, as it's named in South Africa, it's still illegal. So one would ask why, as much as it's illegal, are we having sex workers? And yes, there's that drive now by sex workers that wants to legalize it and also to decriminalize it. And then for me, I could have ended up in the streets as well, because when you are violated sexually, you feel that somebody has taken something out of you, a piece of you has left you, this person has violated you sexually. So how it also manifests as you grow, It's either you are just going to be promiscuous, just being out there.
That's my story,
And be like, you know what, you took it from me, but now I'm just gonna go out and give it to everybody, you know, who wants it, and I'm in control. You no longer gonna take it from me. I'm actually gonna give it out. And then others, because it also happened at home, and they were not believed, then they ended up running away from home because it's an uncle. I know of a lady that ended up in being a sex worker. She was violated by an uncle who was a doctor by profession and was taking care of the family, was taking care of the mother and also them as nephews and nieces.
Yeah.
So she just could not be believed. And this is a respected man in the community, so she had to run away. And then in the streets, you have to fend for yourself.
Yeah.
You need food, you need toiletries, you just need survival. So you will meet with other girls, that's how she ended up being in the street. So many sex workers or women in prostitution that we meet on the streets are not there because of choice.
It's manifestation.
It's manifestation of abuse.
Yeah.
It's manifestation of being sexually violated when they're still young. And also they are just running away from something. And also, the social ills of unemployment. Others would just go to say, you know what, let me just go one night. And they end up being there. So most of them do want to exit. Having, opportunities of alternative income, they will definitely grab it and exit sex work. That's where Direst comes in. We go out, we do outreaches. When we do outreaches, we also give them a questionnaire just to get them to know them better.
Yeah.
How long have you been a sex worker? Are you taking substance? Because some of the sex workers, they are on drugs.
Yeah.
And also, are you HIV positive? If yes, how long are you taking medication? How would you want us to help? And of course, all these questions are optional. They don't have to give us answers. And again, they don't have to give us their names, but we always want their cell number so that we have a point of reference and contact. Do you want to exit prostitution? How can you help me? Help you out of the streets? Do you have skills? If not, what type of skills can we assist you with? Some would say, I love sewing, but I don't know how to sew. That's where we come in. Once we have funding, we buy them sewing machines. We get a facilitator to come and help them. So we give them those sewing machines at the end of the course, and also some starter packs, business packs, your material, scissors, anything that you're going to need to start your journey. Yeah. Some, they say, I like beauty. We get a beauty, a person come, train them on makeup, train them on nail artistry. Then we give them a starter pack as well to continue with their business.
So you more focus on restoring the person, from a holistic point of view, from the mind and the spiritual aspect.
Yes.
Because as a born-again Christian as well, I'm sure you find people who are very judgmental to what you do, and they go. But you know that prostitution is not biblical. Yes, we do encounter it in the Bible, but we know what the law of Moses also said. But now, why do you keep going back to this? Why do you care even?
Others, I remember when I was doing a campaign, because when we go to the streets, we also bring them toiletries. And so I would go out and do a fundraiser for toiletries. So I received this call and I was excited, thinking someone wants to donate. And this person was like to me, I've actually have a better job for you. Like, oh, okay, let's hear it. Say, you know what, we have children and orphans, and so I think you would actually fundraise, more for children.
They're more deserving.
Why do you have do you have to fundraise for sex workers? And I was like, you know what? You have identified a need.
Yes.
Go for it.
Yes.
I can actually help you how to fundraise to address the needs of those kids. But me, this is my space. This is my calling. This is my burden. So if you don't see it as something that's worth doing, it's fine, my brother, but continue with your journey assisting children. And so you always get judged, because doing also outreaches, I go out into the streets at night And sometimes you get people thinking that you are a sex worker, and they get those naughty clients that because you are there, you are engaging with sex workers, and they'll be like, we have a new girl in the market. And being a born again Christian, and when God called me, said, I want you to go and usher my love.
That's else. You're ushering God's love.
God's love.
Yeah.
Nothing else. And even those clients, when they come and say, we want to buy, I engage them. Yes, to say, okay, let's talk. And why are you doing this?
Yeah.
Why are you buying sex? Because surely for you to buy, there's something behind.
Yes,
you don't just wake up to say, there's a reason. And sometimes you find out that very same person they have a lot of issues, that needs to be dealt with. There's a lot of healing that's needed there. So it's a form of escaping something.
Yeah.
Others are married men,
respectable men in the community.
Sister Tadi saying, go to the dark places, you'll see beautiful cars there. And I'm telling you.
I always tell people, how we tend to, as women, we tend to glamorize marriage, so to speak, and maybe use it as an accolade of some sort.
It's like an achievement.
Yes, as an achievement. And some people are always saying, my husband, this is my husband, that amongst the single ladies, with the intention of making the single ladies feel so bad. And I always say to people, you never know. Because with the same prostitutes, that is where you may find that very perfect husband.
Yes. Yeah. Definitely. And remember that perfect husband who's got this wife who's, putting this marriage as a trophy in front of everybody. So instead of cheating with a girlfriend, like a girlfriend, that they will rather go and buy sex as and when they want to satisfy a certain need. So remember, a prostitution in the streets, there's no
attachment.
Yeah, there's no attachment there. You go once, you pay. And you can sleep with many women as you want. And come back at home and be that perfect husband. And the wife will never know, until they get to a space where somebody will tell, you are not always around your husband.
Out of curiosity, let's say you go down to the streets, right? You encounter Ntabi, a sex worker there. What is the conversation like? Because you are showing me God's love.
Yes.
And, how do I respond?
Okay, one of the things that we do as diarists, we have a pamphlet. That pamphlet, it says, it's titled Jesus Loves Me. Then and it's personal. It says, Jesus loves me wherever I'm at, whatever I'm doing. He wants to. So it's what we use to minister. But when I go in the streets, I don't go there and Jesus. No, I just go there, creating conversation. How are you? How is business? I even ask them. How is business doing? And they will tell me, oh, okay, no, it's just not working fine
slow,
tonight.
It's not slow.
Winter. And what could be the reasons that it's slow? They will, I create that conversation, and I also introduce myself to say I'm from Diarist. And remember, I also go with toiletries.
Yes.
So that on its own, when
it's an icebreaker.
It's an icebreaker. Yeah. And I'm like, no, I have a gift for you and a gift for me. What? No, nice. This is your nice pack. And then they will be curious. Why would you care? Especially you're a woman. Why would you care? That's when now I'll bring in the love of God. I was sitting at my home minding my own business. Not until God touched me to say, there's my daughter that I love in Box Street. Just go and visit them. And they'll be like, God sent you here. I said, yes. Because remember, these I bought with money. Why would I care to buy you this? But because there's God who loves you, even irrespective, then that's when the conversation starts. Who is God? Who's Jesus? Then I'll bring out. When I give them that pamphlet, I tell them that every time before you go and do business, pray this prayer. And in that pamphlet, at the end, it has a salvation prayer. I'll say, ask Jesus to protect you, because there are some naughty clients. Safety. Said, you don't know who you're going to meet. And so ask Jesus to protect you. Say, I can pray before, yes, before going to do business, pray. And so that on its own, it brings trust. I don't judge this person, and it's like, no, you know what? I can talk to this person. And then we exchange contacts. We also give them a pen, and that pen, it has all the contacts for the arrest. My cell number, I'll say also, take this pen everywhere you go out, because you can meet a dangerous client. They may take your cell phone. You wouldn't know who to call. But with this pen, you will know, good, I can reach the snobs at any time of the night. And we have rescued some that were left in forests. You know, they will call, say, snobs, I'm here and this is what has happened to me. Get into the car, get police, will go and rescue. So it's more work that we do, trying to get the whole person. Then some will say, I want to exit. I don't have a place to stay. That's when we take them to our shelter, provide, if they have kids, we enroll the kids as well to schools. We want to work with the whole person.
You want total restoration.
Total, because I'm the minister of restoration. By the time you leave the arrest, you must not see reasons to go back into the streets again.
We are speaking with Nobusuthu Javu, and we are speaking on restoration. She's a minister of restoration. She's an advocate, a fierce one at that matter for gender-based violence. I want you to join us on part 2 of my discussion with her as she continues to expatiate on how her story of surviving rape has led her to be a rescuer and a restorer of many. Believe me, many have found their voice simply by her taking position to answer the call of God. Let's meet on TBN right here on channel DSTV 343 at 18:30 next week Tuesday.
Get yourself a copy of our latest books, The Mending of a Broken Vessel and Maintaining Your Joy, a journal for daily positive living. Visit a bookstore near you.